Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And we got a lot of stuff on the show today. Obviously, we do have the Soul Reader tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to do that 2 Thursdays ago. And the video thing didn't work, and then the timing didn't. It was a mess. But everything looks like it has been straightened out. We will be on tomorrow.
Including Mercury.
What? Oh, Mercury is back out of retrograde?
Straightened out.
What's the opposite of retrograde? Future grade? Because retro is like behind.
Present grade.
But that's not the opposite.
Well, what?
The opposite of retro would be future.
But I think it's the literal position. Like Mercury is behind certain things.
So ahead grade? What is ahead grade?
Prograde.
Prograde.
Thank you, DJ Sid.
Thank you. So is it in prograde?
I don't know, bro.
You got to know about, you're the star stone person. Don't you do like moon rocks and stuff? No?
I have them. I don't do them.
So what do you have them for?
It's like having drugs but not doing it.
That sounds less useful because that you can now get arrested for without even using them. Like, you know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it.
True. Maybe I got to charge those.
So we got the Soul Reader tomorrow. Then, hold on. Let's get this back on. A positive no. When is a no an actual positive thing? Sports with a Z, we got a lot going on in the sports world. And a compliment can save someone's day. I will give you a example of that. And if you have an example, you can also share it with us because we did test our phone lines today. And it seems like they are working.
So we'll do that during compliments. Or
you can do it at any point, really. If you've got an opinion about anything we're talking about, you can always hit us up, 201-305-0894. Did I get it right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Carla Marie, what are we doing first?
Positive? No? Or like, do we want to like reset? I don't know.
Reset what?
You know, like we just got back.
No, let's just get into the show.
I feel like we got to. We got to set the table, as they say.
That's literally what we just did. We showed the table of contents, which is setting the table. They're not talking about eating when they do that. It's like you set the table of contents. You show the rundown of what you're doing, and then you do it.
Well, last week we were live from Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and the day after we left, the whole place flooded. Did you know that?
Did it really?
Yeah.
I didn't follow anything.
Yeah, because Ophelia, she's coming up the coast.
Ophelia. That's a song, right? Ophelia.
I don't know.
Something.
But if you watched those streams last week, thank you for sticking with us. Yeah. It was difficult to, it wasn't our normal setting, right? Audio, video wise.
Cecilia, not Ophelia.
Big dumb idiot.
It works though.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like if parents had a daughter and they named her Ophelia, they were singing the Cecilia song to her.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever met anyone named Ophelia?
I've never met either. Cecilia or Ophelia.
Oh, that's a good question. Because Cecilia is a cool name. I like that one.
Yeah. No offense.
Ophelia, I don't know, because I feel like you could get made fun of real easily. Like, Ophelia. I don't know.
Like, it's not a sexy name. I'm so sorry if that's any, like.
Cecilia is kind of a sexy
name.
My
favorite hate mail I ever got
when
I was working at Elvis's show, very early on, like my first year, he had me on the air and we were talking about Carla versus Carla Marie. Yeah. And I was like, just Carla is like, it's just gross to me. I'm telling you, so like scathing emails from Carla's like, how dare you say that about my name? I was like, bro, it's my name too.
Yeah. Like, that was like when Erica was auditioning for our show in Seattle. She said Erica's with a K or slutty or something like that. I don't know what the exact quote is, but trashy maybe?
I don't know. But yeah.
Whatever it was.
I like Erica with the K.
I'm not partial to either. I think both Ericas are fine.
Yeah. Because it doesn't really.
Erica with a K could be almost sexier than Erica with a C.
Call her up and tell her you'll send her into a tailspin.
Z from NYC said, I believe Ophelia is from Hamlet.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense.
Why?
No, I was thinking Oedipus. Different O. Also not from Hamlet.
Very different story. Is Oedipus? Oedipus is not Shakespeare, right?
No, it's Greek mythology.
No, wait a second.
Well, he's not. No, he's not Greek. He's the creepy guy.
What?
Who loves his mom.
Yes, the Oedipus complex. That's where that comes from.
So it's not Greek mythology. It's just philosophy.
I think it might actually be.
No, Oedipus is not. Oedipus was a mythological Greek king of Thebes.
Yes, but I think Shakespeare wrote the play.
Oh, Hamlet and Oedipus is a study of William Shakespeare's Hamlet, in which the title character's inexplicable behaviors are subjected to investigation along psychoanalytic lines. Can I ask a question?
But that doesn't mean both of those. I don't know.
How did I just read all those words with no problem?
That was pretty good.
But I can't say, what was I trying to do when we were recording the podcast 2 weeks ago? It was like,
I don't know.
Normalize, and I couldn't say it.
Justin, my brother, would like you to know, Carla Marie, that he didn't love his mom. He didn't know it was his mom when they were doing it. That's the whole problem. He didn't know. That. So the story of Oedipus, he is like banished for whatever reason when he's super young, ends up coming back and killing his own father to take the throne and then sleeping with his own mother. But he doesn't know at the time that he's doing it. And here's the thing that people forget is, I believe, if I remember the story correctly, because I believe this was in my English class in 11th or 12th grade, he gouges his own eyes out when he finds out that that is in fact his mom. So he was
ween off,
just as against it as we are. It's not like he was like, oh man, my mom's so hot.
How many people do you think were given up for adoption at birth?
Yeah.
Grow up, maybe you're in your late 20s as a man, and you just have a thing for cougars.
Yeah.
And then...
Or what if you had a really young mom?
You date your mom.
Yeah.
Or your sister that you don't even know about.
Yeah. I bet you that's more common. Like like siblings and cousins. Because hypothetically, if you get adopted in the area that you were born, there's a high likelihood that your family is also in that area.
Well, 23andMe is rocking worlds, so...
Let's see.
Oh, what I was saying before we went live. So if you're watching on YouTube, we talk before we're actually live. So there's a screen up and it's just us kind of getting ready. So you may have missed this conversation, but we were talking about flights and tracking them via Google Flights. And Vanessa, who's in the chat, was saying how she had been watching the flights go up and down all weekend. And then a few people recommended to clear her cookies and cache or use a different browser. And it worked.
Yeah. A lot of times if you're searching for flights, you could do it with a VPN on.
That's what I had said, yeah.
And you clear your cache, and then you go into incognito mode or private mode or whatever that mode is on your browser. Using a browser like Brave and going into the incognito mode there, because I've actually heard and seen articles written by former Google employees that incognito mode for Google is kind of a sham. And maybe they've changed it. Maybe there's been a lawsuit or something along the way, because I know that there was one maybe a year and a half ago with incognito mode, because it turns out that Google was still saving all of your information.
Cool. Thanks, Googs.
So you're better off using probably Brave, because even DuckDuckGo isn't fully trustworthy anymore, I don't think.
I had a dream I saved ducks.
Through DuckDuckGo?
No, you said duck, and we saw ducks, and we saved them.
Oh, that's right. So Renee said, we're going back to Oedipus for a second. Oedipus was banished because it was foretold by someone in
like
the
medium?
area. Yeah, that was going to happen.
So we believed mediums back then, but not now.
I think people believe mediums all throughout history.
And it actually happened.
But so here's the interesting thing. It goes back to, if it was foretold, right, in the story of Oedipus, that he was going to come back, kill his father, sleep with his mom. What really ended up triggering that was sending him away. Because we don't know if he would have done that had he stayed there. It's kind of crazy. It's like
his self-fulfilling prophecy.
There was actually I was reading a book that actually I was listening to a book that Fred the Mailman suggested. It is called, before I butcher the title, A Man's Search for Meaning. And it's written by a guy who was in the Holocaust, a psychologist who was in the Holocaust and his experiences. And it talks about how he ended up with this mindset of, instead of trying to escape fate, you just let things happen.
Yeah.
Because people who tried to either escape the Holocaust or move or be tricky about how they can get out of certain punishments or whatever always ended up dead anyway. So he was like, listen, I'm just going to let things happen.
That's kind of the philosopher's way of life as well. Like their whole thing was not to worry about things, right? Or no, sorry, it was kind of just expect the worst. I guess it's a little different.
It's a little different. And I want to be clear, the reason I brought that part up from A Man's Search for Meaning is there's, I guess, an Islamic like story that goes along those lines of death searching for someone, and you'll have to read the book. But it's basically that whole idea of just letting fate happen instead of trying to escape your fate.
How do you feel about it?
I feel fine about it, I guess. Next, okay, let's get to what's on the list, though. We've rambled enough. Are you good?
A positive no. So
yes.
I was flying back to Seattle on Friday, and in the row in front of me was an older gentleman, his special needs son, who was an adult, and then someone maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, another man. And a woman boarding the plane stops in front of that man and says, "Hey, do you mind if I sit with my family?" And the guy, and he was like, "Where's your seat?" And she's like, "It's a window seat." And he's like, "I'm sorry, I purposely booked the aisle because I'm bigger and I just can't fit there."
Okay.
And she like kind of hesitated and was about to like say something again. And the dad was like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And he was like, "No, I'll switch." And she starts walking away. He's like, "I'll switch with you." And she's like, no, like she was definitely frustrated.
The flight attendant?
No, the woman, the mom.
Oh, okay.
It was never a flight attendant.
I heard. Okay.
A mom.
Okay, got
wanted to sit next to her special needs adult son
now I get it.
And husband. The man said, "No, I booked this on purpose," which we've talked about plenty of times before. Like sometimes you pay extra for those seats. And you could tell like he immediately was like, "Oh crap." Like he kind of assessed the situation, but he had said no and she was frustrated and walked away. So I was like, "Oh man." So then I listened to the conversation play out of the dad talking to this guy, and he was like, "It's totally fine. Don't worry about it." And the guy who said no turned to the kid and was like, "Are you a Marvel fan?" And the kid was wearing a guy was wearing a Marvel shirt. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Yeah, he's a Marvel fan, all this stuff." And he's like, "I actually used to draw for Marvel." And they start talking. He starts showing all these images that he drew for Marvel comic books. And they were talking about all these different things. And he was saying how, just telling all these stories about how he's seen the comic world come so far. And it's crazy seeing like how many women writers and drawers, like artists there are. And now he works for a video game company, which I was going to be like, which one?
Yeah.
But by the end of that conversation, they connected, traded phone numbers, and the guy is going to draw certain drawings just for that kid.
That's really cool.
And I was like, oh, all because he said no, right? Even if he never would have said no, or if that woman would have never asked, that conversation would have never happened. Yeah. And I watched it all happen, and it was wild to see it from its inception. I was like, sometimes a no can turn into something good. Yeah. He also said his last name was Patton, and that from what he knows, he has descended from General Patton. Oh, wow. And he was also in the Marines, and they used to be like, "Oh, man, that's so cool that that's your last name."
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. If he was in the Marines as well. Yeah.
It was wild.
That's got to be an easier thing to track down. Mm-hmm. Because Patton didn't live that long ago. That's 3 generations.
I kind of want to track this guy down myself. Not General Patton, this guy. But I loved witnessing that and just being like, "Oh no, this is awkward. And then it was just such a cool moment.
Let's see. Looking in the chat.
John Newell said, "Today at the train before work, a man asked me to use my phone to call their spouse, and I told them, 'Sorry, I'm not comfortable with that.' Yeah. The power of not saying yes just to be nice when you're not comfortable with something."
Yeah, of course.
That's basically what that guy did.
Yeah. And I don't blame that guy either.
Me neither.
Right? If he specifically selected a seat, it's unfortunate. Listen, it's an unfortunate situation if the family is not staying together, but it's not his fault. Right? Like, he chose that seat and he was very clear for a specific reason. And if you are stuck in an aisle seat, sometimes it does get real cramped. And if you're a bigger person, I understand that sucks. But it's not his fault that they weren't sitting together. And it wasn't like the kid was, was it a kid? It wasn't, right?
He was at least in his 20s.
Okay.
But he didn't really speak. He wore a mask, so it was hard for me to tell. But the dad looked maybe 60s, 70s.
Okay. Well, he's someone's kid, regardless of what his age is. Yeah. It's not like the person was sitting by themselves either. The father was there.
Yeah. No,
so it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know? Man, it is such a tough ask because I've been asked by like older couples. We talked about this on the air a long time ago, and it's not my fault. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're giving me an equal seat or a better seat, because that's happened a couple times. Yeah.
I've been upgraded.
Yeah, then fine.
We switched, or I switched when I had during COVID. Getting all those first class upgrades on Alaska was peak life. Yeah, and there was like one couple that didn't have their seats together, and they just asked me to switch in first class to switch with them. When we flew back to New Jersey a week and a half ago, we had booked aisle and window and left middle open. Hopefully, no one was going to show up there, and someone did, and I was like, I'll sit in the middle seat. Yeah, it didn't make sense to put her in between us. So she got an upgrade.
Yeah. Let's see. For the first time, my husband and I get a full row to ourselves because of our daughter. Well, would the three of you be sitting in the row? I'm confused. Because that sounds like three people.
Yeah.
And then it's Meg, not Megan, said, I have anxiety. I always pick the window and would never say yes to anyone wanting to switch. I booked that for a reason.
It's so hard to ask people to switch now because you have to pay to pick your seat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other part.
So, like, if I paid for the seat, $30 to $50.
I'm very confused as to why this featured chat thing isn't working, so I'm going to refresh it and see if it does anything. Oh, it does. Okay. Sometimes things just need a little refresh. There we go. Oh, so what Melissa was saying was, yes, all three of them will be in a row together. They don't have to sit with a stranger.
Oh, gotcha.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's nice. I haven't flown with, when we went to Disney, that's what it was. Last year we went to Disney with my brother and the whole family. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I'd flown with anyone other than just Anthony or myself in like 10 years. Because every time I fly, I'm flying from Seattle to New Jersey or somewhere else where it's just me or with you.
And it's not like your family was a big flying family to begin with.
The last time I flew with family or anyone was when we went to Disney World for like my sister's cheerleading competition. So it was like weird having like all these people and we got to all hang out together. That's why I'm like, for my niece's Bachelorette, that's why I kind of wanted to fly with them from Newark to Puerto Rico, because I think it'd be fun. Like, I've never done a Bachelorette where I've gotten to fly with all of them and get the shout-outs from the pilot.
No.
Woo!
Here's what you don't want to do, is you don't want to fly with a Bachelorette party.
I've never done it. I got to experience.
There has never, in the history of flight, been a person who has seen a Bachelorette party walk onto a plane and been happy.
Since the Wright brothers,
the worst.
I can't wait. Nah, this group is not that bad.
They don't shut up.
Oh yeah, we're excited.
They're loud. They're wearing a dick hat or something
No,
stupid.
this won't be a dick hat party. Well,
but it will be a loud group of women on a plane.
Only because I'll be shushing them. It's only that'll be loud.
That's loud.
Actually, they're some of their friends. I'm so excited.
It's a bunch of women from New Jersey, Italian women from New Jersey. They're going to be loud.
I will be almost turning 36 when we do this party. My sister will be the next oldest. She's 3 years younger than me. After that, they're 8 years younger than me.
Okay, so what?
I'll be like the mom of the group.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to mom so hard.
No, you're not. Why would you have to?
Or I just go wild and make them take care of me.
No, you just have a normal time. Why does it have to be one or the other? You can just go have a normal time.
Not true.
Why not? Why is that not true?
Because that's not how it works. We're going on a boat, catamaran ride, drinks there.
Seizure? Just pull Scott Van Pelt. We'll talk about that in a second.
And then
he didn't have a seizure, by the way.
What else? We're going to a strip club.
Okay. Continue.
That's all stuff.
So a catamaran and a strip club. How many days are you going to be there?
Thursday through Monday.
That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Puerto Rico. I'd love to go.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been there so many times.
To Puerto Rico?
Yeah. I went when I was 16 for a whole week with my best friend and her family. And then I went on 2 cruises? Maybe.
Oh, this is a great comment from Drowning Ash. She said, the Bachelorette parties are getting out of control and we need to talk about it.
Let's talk about it on Thursday because...
It's a very real thing.
Because Glamour, I had been posting about this like a week and a half ago. Glamour did like an entire expose on Bachelorette parties. Mm-hmm. And I didn't fully read it, so I want to read it before we can talk about all of their points, but facts.
It's weird these aren't coming up anymore on the screen. Anyway, yeah, I think bachelor and bachelorette parties are getting a little crazy. Bachelorette parties are definitely worse, though. Because I feel like bachelorette parties are getting to a point with, and we are going to talk about this more in depth on Thursday. We can take phone calls and stuff. Mm-hmm. I just feel like they're getting very over the top in terms of like the look at me, I'm going to make a million TikToks and reels and there's going to be a backdrop. And guys just don't do that.
No. I will say
for the most part
that it is probably for a lot of these women, myself would be included in this, it is the one time in your life you will have all of your best friends in one place.
Isn't that your wedding too?
Yeah, but there's other people like
and your showers.
No, like just your girlfriends, right? Okay. Like your shower, you got aunts and whatever, and who knows, people that you were made to invite.
Yeah,
like these are just your people. Like I have best friends that have never met.
Yeah,
so that to me, like that's the only thing that I'm like, I would want to have a giant house in like South Carolina and we don't leave the house. Yeah. And we all just hang out and make TikToks. Just kidding.
The TikToks. No, I get it, but maybe we need to start making that more of a normal thing of just taking like a girls' weekend or a guys' weekend and
it's
doing it.
It's too hard because people don't want to, like, they're more likely to do it because it is your one time.
I agree. But if we did it more often, they'd be much cheaper. What are you trying to do?
But things are freezing.
Oh. If we did it more often, you wouldn't have to spend $3,000 or whatever people are spending now to go to a bachelorette party. Anyway, like we said before, we'll talk about that on Thursday because tomorrow is going to be the Soul Reader Day. Moving on from a positive note, Sportz with a Z.
With Carla Marie.
Now, yesterday was a very big day in sports, not just because I think the Yankees got eliminated yesterday, right? Obviously, NFL Sunday.
Yep, the Dolphins just literally embarrassed. Yeah. Who was it? The Bears? Bills?
The Broncos. They went video game. They went video game style on the Broncos.
So, need to tell this backstory.
By the way, the score was 70-20. 20, yeah.
I should have known it was the Broncos. We're in the first quarter of the Seahawks game yesterday, and I'm blanking on her name, but it's the female announcer, and I'm annoyed that I don't know her name because she's so super sweet and so nice. She comes on and she goes, because they do like on timeouts, they'll put all the scores of the other games on. And she's like, if you like the Broncos, I'm sorry. And they put the score up and the whole place erupts in laughter because that's where Russell Wilson went.
Yeah.
I was like, what a burn. Like it was hilarious. Like the place was losing their minds. No one could believe it. And no one likes Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
It's also wild. What my favorite part of that story is the head coach for the Dolphins used to be the ball boy for the Broncos. So he came back and beat his team. I think it was like the second most yards in a game in NFL history, and it's the most points that have been scored in about 40 years or something crazy in the NFL. But that's the sports side of it.
Yeah.
Sports with a Z, though, is not about sports.
No, although that could like venture into it because it's so wild, but no.
It's the sports universe without athletics.
Correct. So first thing yesterday morning, we find out Usher baby, is performing at the halftime of the Super Bowl.
USHERRAYMOND.
Usher Raymond. I'm very excited about it. Are you?
You know what's funny? I was excited when I saw the announcement.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere because I was on track of
Apparently it was accidentally leaked. That's why.
Well, no, Apple had a bunch of stuff that they posted.
No, like no one was prepared apparently, and they just like scrambled overnight from what I've been hearing.
So I was excited when I heard it was going to be Usher because right away I was like, that's a phenomenal selection. But it wasn't on my radar because I was thinking NSYNC was going to do their reunion.
Yeah.
And then gauge. I talked about the whole thing here. They were going to gauge their reception based on the halftime show and then maybe do like a Coachella and a world tour. Okay, so I was wrong.
You thought.
I was wrong. And once I started getting over the fact that I was wrong, which doesn't happen very often, there were like little parts of my day where I got more and more excited about Usher being the halftime show. All these random, and it's not like I was thinking about it, but just randomly, an Usher song would pop into my brain. And then Ricky in our group chat said something about being caught up And right away, I was like, oh, Caught Up, song by Usher.
Caught Up. Got me.
He has so many good songs.
So many bangers.
Think about this. I think his first big song was in 1998.
That makes sense. And he's a great dancer,
Yeah.
too. So he's a great performer. And we saw him at the iHeartRadio Music Festival years ago, and he brought out, or was it?
Sorry, 94.
Oh, my God. He brought out so many people. And it was so entertaining that I cannot wait for this.
Yeah.
And then the reason we were talking about it a lot with Ricky yesterday is apparently a lot of the women she works with were so annoyed. They're like, Usher's not relevant. And I was like, top 40 radio stations play, once a day.
Yeah.
Still. What are you talking about? So that was the whole
people
debate.
People can also say radio's not relevant.
Correct.
To a certain population.
I should have said that. Well, but Ricky disagreed with them.
Yeah.
You were flying. Our group chat, the Cotton Kitten,
Not cotton.
Content kittens were going off. Like, we were all amped about Usher.
Yeah. Here's my problem. This happens in radio a lot, and we'll talk about this in two different parts. There are definitely people in radio that are making fun of Usher being the halftime show. Oh, he's not relevant, blah, blah, blah. Or he hasn't had a hit in blah, blah, however long. That's fine.
That's not how the halftime show works.
That's fine. They have to be really well-known artists.
Did Missy Elliott have a hit when she performed?
But she wasn't the main performer.
No.
She came out as a special guest. Anyway, I guarantee you, every single radio person or media person who is going to be covering the Super Bowl, if Usher was to do a phoner with them or go to their studio, they would
do a gesture that I can't do on the stream.
I was going to say cream their pants.
Or that. But they're all going to post their photos with Usher, which I don't have one.
I don't have a picture with Usher.
Damn.
And it's one of my problems and we can now transition because Usher, halftime show, we'll be talking about that for a while until the actual Super Bowl halftime show happens, which is in Las Vegas this year.
Yes.
So not only is it a great performer, it's probably going to be the best Super Bowl venue in terms of acoustics, stage, lighting. SoFi was great. SoFi Stadium, because they're also a brand new stadium. That's where the Rams play.
Lumen Field acoustics, not when you're performing in the middle.
Yeah.
Not great.
But the thing that Vegas has over every other venue,
it's because
it's not only is it a dome, because they're not the only dome out there, obviously. Like SoFi is a dome, but also has a
side windows.
Yeah. Fully enclosed dome. And they do these crazy halftime performances every single game. Like, when I was there, I've been there and I've seen...
but it's not going to be that group of people putting the halftime performance together.
Doesn't matter. The infrastructure is there. Right? Like, Santana's done preseason games there. Sublime with Rome did the Kansas City game last year. The year before that was
what I'm telling you, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is that there's a stage built for the Super Bowl.
I understand
it's not the Allegiant Stadium putting together.
I understand that. All I'm saying is that the infrastructure is there and used every single week
it'll be good
to put on a great show.
And he does his residency in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So, not that people are going to go buy tickets to Super Bowl to see Usher. But.
No, the tickets are way too expensive to go just
to an
for
Usher concert.
Yeah. For a 15 to 20 minute Usher concert.
Yeah, no.
You could buy a whole section of his actual residency in Vegas for that price.
Buy out the residency.
No, but we talked about how all the people that could be trash talking or making fun of Usher this morning, as the news comes out that he's the halftime show, they would be over the moon if he even gave them an ounce of attention and took a picture with them. Those same people, I got a bone to pick with them about the Taylor Swift.
Excuse me. This is Sports with a Z with Carla Marie.
Okay, go for it.
Yesterday, the world stopped when it comes to football because Taylor Allison Swift, showed up to the Kansas City Chiefs game and sat in Travis Kelce's suite next to his mother and just hammed it up. Gave us everything we wanted as Swifties.
Yeah.
When he came out, she was like kind of blushing. Then he scored and she screams, "Let's fucking go." Like, she chest bumps the guy next to her. She's all into it. And then once people started realizing she was there, like all this footage of her just hanging out in the suite, being a normal person, eating chicken fingers with ketchup and ranch.
Ugh. Ketchup
Not
on chicken
mix.
fingers?
What? Queen. Hello.
That's gross.
Me too. Then there's video of her like cleaning up all the bottles and cans in the suite. And then today I saw footage of when the Kansas Chiefs players were on the sidelines. They started noticing she was up in the suite. And they're all like, no way. And they're waving. And it was just like such a feel-good day. Like when I got the message that she was there, because Colleen and Erica are Erica Shea and Colleen Shea, not related, in the group chat with me, sending this to me. I'm standing on the sidelines of the Seahawks game, and I literally go, holy fuck. And everyone around me is like, what? I'm like, Taylor Swift is at the Chiefs game. And everyone's like, what? And I was like, can I say it when I go out there? Please, on the mic. And my boss is like, listen, I love this. I'm happy for this. I'm so happy for you about this, but no.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it doesn't make any sense either, unless you had like footage you were going to put up there.
Fine.
But
I was losing my mind yesterday. I'm so happy about this. However, there's part of me that thinks this is all a publicity stunt.
It could be.
And I won't be mad. I'll be like, damn, because I really think they would make a great couple. I do think they balance each other out. I've been a Kelce fan for a few years now, just because of his personality, and
it's
he's
very
cute.
hard. It's very hard not to like Travis Kelce.
My friend Colleen does not like him, and she's watching She's watching the Kelce documentary right now to try to fall in love with him.
But that's a Jason Kelce documentary.
He's in it. She's trying to see any footage of him. She's an Eagles fan.
I don't know, because here's the thing. Travis Kelce has beat up my team, the Raiders, for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just, he seems like such a hard person to dislike. I don't know.
She's like, I don't get it. And Erica and I are like,
not getting it is different than hating him.
I must have spent an hour just texting them overall throughout the day yesterday. Erica and I are like, we are literally in love with him prior to this. And now, like they were seen driving around in his car, like roof off yesterday. Apparently, rumors are that she bought dinner for the whole restaurant they were at so that people would like eat and leave or something so they could be alone. But then her team is coming out being like, Taylor's busy right now spending time with her girlfriend. She thought it was a fun way to spend a Sunday, so she went. And we're like,
and that's the ththing. We don't know what their deal is at all.
They're perfect together. The height ratio, perfect. They look great together. He's silly. She's silly. They both love their careers.
Maybe. They could. Or they could just be like, hey, because wasn't the story when she was in Kansas City, he tried to meet her?
Yes, that's how this all happened.
Yeah. So maybe this is just, she had a free weekend. Let's hang out and see what happens.
But then
maybe they do it, maybe they don't.
But then there's the people that are like, oh my God, now Taylor's invading my football space. And it's like, no, bro, it's the most famous person in the world. And everything is trying to attach to her.
Yeah. Oh, the NFL is all for this. The NFL is 100% leveraging Taylor's attention to make themselves cooler. That's the craziest part. Taylor is bigger than the NFL.
Yes.
Which in the NFL, no one player has ever been bigger than the NFL. They make sure of that as a company, corporation, whatever. Taylor Swift is 100% bigger than the NFL. And there are people who are already like, oh, this is gross. I'm so over it. It's been a day. Relax.
Yeah.
And the people
the NFL needs this positive news sometimes.
Huh?
Like the NFL needs to be silly sometimes.
And here's the thing. It's not important news. If you don't like it, don't pay attention to it. It's okay.
Well, people are saying I can't not pay attention to it because it's in my face
for
everywhere.
A day.
Then get off social media. Maybe don't do social media and you'll be fine.
And yet no
one's running around the street with signs.
I have the ESPN app on my phone, and I opened up the ESPN app, and everything on the front page was Taylor Swift.
It's got to suck for the Dolphins and Usher.
Yeah.
You just did this and this.
But there are people, professionals, who work in radio, and I've seen from across the country, stations we've worked with, stations we haven't worked with, friends of mine, people I don't know, right? This isn't against any one person. But I have seen so many annoying anti-Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce posts. She's so annoying. Oh, this is so annoying. I
love, bro.
I would love more than anything in the world for you, person, anger tweeting about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, have that same energy when she is in your studio. You fraud. You are a fraud. And I will say this to people I love to their face.
Yeah. That's why I never used to hate on artists when we were on the air, because I would have to then fake it.
And just because I called you a fraud, if I do know you, that doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I think you're a bad person. I'm just calling you out for your nonsense.
Yeah, you'll be the same person to take a photo and post it.
Because much like the people that would cream their pants if Usher took a picture with them.
Same.
You would do the same thing if Taylor Swift took a picture with you.
Yeah.
If Taylor Swift said your name in an interview, you'd faint.
I just don't get, I don't know. I try to see that side of like what bothers me when something like that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't riding the Adele train, and I was trying not to do. I remember I was like, Adele is such a nice person, but I can't get behind this music.
And
I wasn't.
That's a whole different story. Saying that, I understand that they're talented. I understand that people love them. It's just not for me. That's a whole different story than if you were to go online, Carla Marie.
Yeah.
And be like, Adele is so stupid. I hate her. I wish she would be off of my screen.
Yeah.
Blah.
Different
story. I think every artist would even tell you, you don't have to like my music. As long as you are a respectful human being, that's fine.
Yeah.
My music isn't for everybody. This show isn't for everybody. Right?
Fair.
That's fine.
Amanda said, did you see people are now saying the female version of thinking about the Roman Empire is Taylor Swift? Yes. That is me. I'll randomly think about her throughout the day, whether it's in my face on social media or not. But it's hard because she's currently relevant. Like the Roman Empire is not.
The Roman Empire is always relevant because a lot of the things that we do today were either developed or perfected or worked on or invented by the Roman Empire. What, Carla Marie?
That message popped up, but it was old.
Yeah, I had 3 messages queued over here.
Jordan said, I saw a couple of guys on social that were thrilled that their girlfriends and wives were actually watching football with them. That's cute.
That's great, too. Here's the thing. It is entertainment. All of it is entertainment, right?
It's a game.
Just because you say you love sports, it means you also love entertainment. That's what sports are.
If you love sports, you have to love sports with a Z.
It's for the people who are actually mad, because there are people who are mad because they dislike Taylor Swift and the amount of attention she gets for whatever reason. But there are also people, like you were saying, Carla, you're like, oh, she's invading my space.
Your space is not the NFL.
Get over yourself. It's a game. And I love sports. I watch all the sports. But they're games. Right? They're games. They're games that we play as kids that are now being played by adults for millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
You're mad that a musical dancer and performer is invading your game.
And there's also, it's very similar to the people who will go online and they'll report on stories about people getting into actual physical altercations at sports events.
You're fighting over grown men.
You're fighting over people who don't even know you exist because you wear a red jersey and they wear a blue jersey.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's wild.
It is crazy.
And I get it that sometimes those fan interactions end up getting disrespectful and you're no longer fighting about the team. You're fighting about the fact that someone disrespected you as a person.
Yeah.
I'll never forget last year, there was a Jets fan at the Seahawks game. I went to go see. You were working the game, so I had tickets. Did we
play the Jets?
They came to...
The Giants came last year.
Both of them came last year.
Okay.
Anyway, there was a Jets fan, and the Jets had lost that game. They were pretty terrible. That was being as annoying as possible to every Seahawks fan. He was just sitting at the end of the aisle.
Kicked him out.
I am so surprised that guy didn't start a fight because he was
it was
actually...
Seattle.
He was also touching people.
No,
he flicked some guy's hat.
That's because it's Seattle. If you'd have done that in New York, you would have got kicked in the teeth.
If that man did that in New York, if he did it in Boston, if he did it in probably Chicago.
The next time that happens, text me. I will get security on their asses.
That I was literally standing there going, I'm about to watch a brawl. And it wasn't until one of his friends realized how annoying he was being. Because it was the end of the game. Everyone's trying to figure out how to leave. And they grabbed him. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. It was probably the worst fan I've actually ever seen at a game. And I've seen a lot of stupid fans at games. You know what's funny is when you ask players, Philly normally doesn't even show up in worst fans in the country.
Because they're mean to each other.
They're mean to one another, whatever. And they're I would say in terms of treating the players, they're probably as bad as everywhere else. The worst place, hands down, for players And this is, you could go to a million interviews and find players saying the same thing. What do you think it is?
Fans?
Yeah.
Being mean to players.
Yeah.
Isn't it Yankees or Boston?
No, Boston.
Yeah.
And a lot of players will say the same thing. It's overtly racist in Boston.
Yes.
Like their fans are terrible to players. So maybe if you ask white players, it's not as bad. But there have been so many instances where players will come out and say, I despise going to Boston because of how rude and racist their fans can get. Now, that's not every single Boston fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure there are,
nice,
the majority are probably non-racist, nice
but
people.
the ones you hear about.
Yeah, but the ones who make the biggest stink and stand out the most are going to be those people.
Speaking of wild fans, remember when you were at the Broncos game last season versus Seahawks and it was the loudest place you'd ever been?
Yes.
Second half of yesterday's game was just as loud.
Really?
They had 8 false starts.
Oh, wow.
It was absurd. It was so loud.
Yeah.
So loud.
I love going to games there. It is
so
a great environment.
So I saw this pop up. I 100% agree.
What was that?
Sadly. Anna said, I saw something where the women's equivalent of the Roman Empire was getting kidnapped. And I think about every day about being abducted. It's funny, but it's not. I swear to God, I run the scenario through my head every time I'm in a different place.
Okay.
If someone grabs me here, if someone throws me in a trunk, how quickly can I hide my Apple Watch so they don't know I have it on so that I can get the emergency thing? Or which emergency buttons is it again on the phone? All these different, I swear to God, every day. If someone comes into my house, I don't need to worry about getting the cats because they're going to run and hide, but I got to get to my roof and run over to Olivia's so that I can get into her house and bang on her door. Like,
okay.
Every day, no matter where I am, how do I get out of being kidnapped?
Okay. What have you trained? Have you done anything? Maybe a self-defense?
I would love to. I have not.
Hide like a razor under your tongue or something?
It's not prison.
You never know. It sounds like it is the way you're talking about it.
Meg said, I've thought about that. Wow.
And unfortunately, I'm sure almost every woman has thought about it. That's the shitty part of that. Which is
I don't
why
think about it, but I should.
Self-defense classes and things like that
should be free or tax deductible.
Or maybe your health insurance can pay for it.
That would be nice. Because guess what? They're not going to want to pay for it.
No.
My medical bills.
Here's the thing. Health insurance won't pay for it because you know what's the best thing for health insurance? You disappearing. Because they'll never have to pay for anything ever again. So health insurance, big health insurance, does not want you to take self-defense classes. They want you disappearing.
Yeah. But my student loan company, they don't want me disappearing.
Did anyone else co-sign?
Not on my refinance.
Oh, so it's just you.
It's just me. But then my family's still going to be saddled with the bills.
How? But if they didn't sign up for it.
Doesn't matter. I remember reading the story when I was in college, and I was or after college, about this 20-something-year-old who died of cancer, and their parents were about to foreclose on their home. It was this whole thing, and the parents were not co-signers to the loan. And I'm looking for this message that I got. Okay. I won't say the person's name, just in case.
Okay.
They messaged me 2 weeks ago and said, "Hi, Carla Marie. I have to tell you, I was in tears last night. My husband, who I was with for 34 years, passed away suddenly in November of 2020. He just turned 47. He was like you, still paying off student loans. Last night, I got a letter in the mail addressed to him. I've been sending them back saying deceased to the student loan company.
Yeah.
I opened it by accident, and it was a letter that his student loans were forgiven. I never reported to the loan company that he passed. As I started to cry, I thought of you, and I said a prayer that you received the same letter I did and your loans are forgiven. I can't tell you how much you and Anthony have helped me get through the nights watching your show. Keep up the good work. I know I know God has big plans for you. Please. P.S. I also come from a crazy Italian family.
That's pretty crazy.
I started tearing. My mascara's burning.
So were they forgiven because of some Biden executive order, or was they forgiven because the guy died?
I was confused. Because she said, last night, I got a letter in the mail addressed to him. I have been sending them back saying deceased, but then she said, I never told the loan company that he passed, so I'm confused. But either way.
By the way, Nick from NYC said, Nick NYC 718, I think self-defense class can go under tax deductible under the bracket for business safety and security improvements.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, because this business needs to be secure.
I mean, you are a business.
Taylor Swift's got her legs insured.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. How do we even find out? We don't have, I guess with tax deduct, we'd talk to our, accountant? Man, I need to get better at like knowing what things are deductible.
I've been learning a lot lately, and it's kind of wild. And I talked to my brother about it also because he's ran a business for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it is insane how many things actually are tax deductible.
And well, some of it can also be shady. And that's, I know this sounds stupid.
Look at Bezos.
Yeah, I guess at some point.
It's, the system. It's a game.
Yeah. And really the reason that
I
we
think
get
Taylor
taxed.
Swift needs to teach taxes, and everyone will be paying attention and pissed.
I'm sure there's some TikTok tax person.
There definitely is.
That we can follow. If you know anyone, send them my way.
Also, Taylor Allison Swift got 35,000 people to register to vote last week, and I think people are very mad about that.
Why?
That are not on the same side of things as she is.
But I don't think said. First off, she was anti-Trump, I think, for a little
watch
bit.
Miss Americana.
But she doesn't, even outside of that documentary, it's not like she's out there talking about policy every day.
No, not every day, but it's very clear.
And I think
she stands, not specific people, where she aligns with her beliefs.
Yeah, but also getting people to register does not necessarily mean they're going to vote the same way you do or like the same candidates.
And
they might.
In 6 months when she's like, this is how I'm voting.
Maybe. I wonder if she'll do that, though.
But she did. She has, is what I'm telling you.
We'll see if she does it again.
Because she did, what's her name? Marsha Blackburn? Man, she got ripped apart in that documentary. That was her name?
Oh, that from Tennessee?
Yeah.
Let's see. I need to do a better job of knowing write-offs, etc. That's Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Damn, what was I going to say? There was something about taxes, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the one thing we didn't hit, even though we said we were going to a little while ago, when Carla Marie was fumbling over her words, and we mentioned Scott Van Pelt.
Oh.
I don't know if anyone watched this last night. It was after the Sunday night football game. Scott Van Pelt has a phenomenal show. He's legitimately one of my favorite sports analysts because he's very smart, very articulate, but also just seems like a normal dude. Like, doesn't take anything too seriously or go over the top. He had a moment in the show where...
Well, I watched this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you told me to watch it.
I was watching it, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And I paused it, and I was like, Anthony, come here. And I rewound it. I was like, either this man is having a stroke, or I don't know, or they're joking. I don't know what happened. And we watched it, and you can describe it.
So he's talking to, I forgot what other analyst he was talking to. But either way, the other analyst is speaking. They're sitting across from one another like this. Then he goes to Scott Van Pelt, and he starts talking. And then you hear him say, I forgot what I said. And he like pauses, kind of stares into space. Resets, and then starts talking again.
And then he's like, never mind, or something. And then it cuts to the Burger King commercial.
Yeah.
Whopper, da, 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 da. And I was like, what?
Which, then I went onto Instagram, onto Twitter to see if anyone or the show was going to talk about it. They come back from commercial. Everything's totally normal. Bring it up. So this morning, I got onto Twitter and I checked again, and my suspicions were correct. They were recutting because the show repeats throughout the night. But if something doesn't get updated, they can just leave it and run it again.
Because
and then
football games end at different times.
But then what they do to go from one section to another, if there is an update, is Scott Van Pelt has to recut certain parts of the show so they can match up properly. And basically what had happened was a producer had told him they were going to do a cut to splice it in. And they told him where the pickup point was of his conversation. He starts talking and he says, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot what I had said. And what he's meaning is he forgot what he said
earlier
and was waiting for them to update him. But because
he's definitely going to address it today.
He talked about it on Twitter.
But he has to address it on the show and kind of explain to people, because truly the whole internet thought he had a stroke.
Yeah.
And that's what he said today is like, I'm fine, guys, like whatever. But that also goes to show how eloquent he is with his words, that the second you stutter, people think you're stroking out.
Yeah.
That was me, normal day.
But he talks about how, and he gives a lot of credit to his editors. He's like, this shows you how good they normally are and how magical this process really is.
That don't have jobs today.
Well, and they messed up, and it's fine. But my theory yesterday that I told Carla Marie seemed to be 100% correct.
Yeah.
It's they forgot to make an edit, and because they didn't know where it was going to pick up, they just said, let's go to commercials and forget that happened.
Yeah.
And it's happened in radio before.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing back an interview or a phone call and you forget to make
It
an edit.
happens on our podcast.
Yeah, it's fine. But what I loved which was really cool, was how kind the internet was to him when it happened. There wasn't really anyone calling him out for anything. It was just a lot of people saying, I really hope you're okay.
Because only we understood what possibly could have happened. People don't know about edits.
No, there were some people on Twitter saying maybe it was just a bad edit or something. Okay, there were other people, Carla Marie. But it was nice to see that people were actually kind to a guy who messed up on national television.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, I stuttered saying Seahawks yesterday, so.
On the big screen?
Live. Kicking off the game.
What'd you do?
I was about to say a special Seahawks season, and I was like, and I said, Seahawks. I was like, I started like laughing too because whatever.
The alliteration's going to get real tough. Special Seahawks season?
Yeah. My script yesterday was like I was being punked.
Why?
Because it was our Hispanic heritage game.
Okay.
And there was a lot of words that I had to say.
Like names and stuff?
Names weren't too bad.
Give me an example. Can you think of anything?
So I had to say mariachi mi tierra. So I'm texting Ricky the night before. I'm like, send me the audio.
Mariachi mi tierra?
Yeah, but I can't roll my R's.
Okay. So
they got mariachi mi tierra.
That's not bad.
Then I had to say Maria Luisa empanadas.
Okay, not bad.
Right?
Not that I'm not Hispanic, so I
had to say la gente.
Okay.
So I'm texting Ricky. I'm like, I don't think this is grammatically correct.
Yeah.
It's telling me I have to say we're celebrating la gente and our home taste advantage, which is what all of our food is called at the stadium. And she's like, it's not. Normally you would say mi gente, which means my people. Right?
Okay.
You wouldn't say we're celebrating the people.
Why not?
Because it just doesn't make sense. So everything I'm looking doesn't make sense. Then I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to say, I don't need to be like this white idiot doesn't know what she's saying.
Yeah.
I start realizing I get to the stadium. La gente is the collective of what the NFL has put together for Hispanic Heritage Month. They're calling it La Gente, and it's all different Hispanic and Latino cultures and backgrounds, and that collective is called La Gente. And I was like,
makes sense.
Okay. So I said it.
Oh, look at that. You got a little football Carla Marie in there. Thank you to Kenny1791.
Yeah.
I forgot that we have those. Good question from Tacoma Swifty, because I didn't think Ricky's Spanish was necessarily that great. Like, she's not a fluent speaker, right?
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
There's not one other person you know other than Ricky? You could have always messaged Hav. Hav's Spanish is great.
I'm sure.
Are you making fun of my friend?
No, but it was like 10 p.m. on a Saturday.
Or I don't even know how well Rihanna, who is going to be my sister-in-law soon, I don't know how good her Spanish is.
Ricky was just my go-to. I was more asking her the pronunciation of things to make sure I was saying them right. And she was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're saying it like a white person, but you're right.
Which is, listen, at the end of the day, you're not Hispanic. And I think people get a little too defensive when people mess up things that are supposed to be said differently in a native tongue.
Yeah.
Like I hear people,
like mozzarella.
Well,
when you say mozzarella, I'm like, bro,
but
just say mozzarella.
But you're actually incorrect on that
No,
one.
actually, I was watching a video of an Italian chef in Italy, and he was calling it mozzarella. So
seems like a fraud.
I meant to send that to you.
Seems like a fraud. But especially with, I think it happens most often with Hispanic sounding names and words. But we forget that sometimes if you didn't grow up speaking that language, it is actually near impossible
to do it,
to make certain sounds if you didn't grow up with those sounds.
Correct. I can't roll the R's.
We need to be a little more forgiving of people who are saying things that are supposed to be said in a different language. Like especially when people try to correct you on things like Ibiza. It's like, get out of here. I'm going to say Ibiza. I don't really correct people in actual conversation, though.
I need to correct what I was explaining, though, because Maria in Omaha said, La gente isn't wrong because you're not Hispanic. So why would you say mi
That'd
gente?
Be the people.
Correct. For me, it was, why am I just randomly dropping a Spanish word in the middle of a sentence? Why am I not saying we're celebrating people and? Why am I just saying la gente in the middle of a sentence?
Because that's what the thing is called.
It doesn't make sense. Like, am we just going to change random? And then I realize, oh, this is a thing.
Let's see. Maria in Omaha said La gente is not wrong because you are not a Hispanic person. That's true. If you said, it would have been funny if you said, we're celebrating mi gente.
Mi gente! Everyone would have been like, what, bitch?
People would have been very, very confused. But yeah, the area that you were talking about was called
No.
La gente. Is that what?
Area?
Was it the collective of the stores and whatnot? Did I miss something?
We're shopping?
I don't know. Explain what it is again.
La gente is what the NFL is calling their thing that they are like promoting this month for Hispanic Heritage Games and Hispanic Heritage Month.
Okay.
And it's like all different. Like when you look at the screen that they put it up, it says La gente and it's every flag.
Okay.
So it's like the collective of everyone.
I misunderstood you.
Yeah, we're not shopping.
I thought there were like things in the arena like that you can get like Hispanic food or something. I don't know.
I mean, you can.
That area, all of those things were called. Anyway.
The District Market outside Section 323, you can get Maria Luisa empanadas.
There you go.
And they're so good. And it's powered by Amazon Just Walk Out technology, so you don't pay. You just walk out.
Are you doing the whole thing right now?
And look, we have a special delivery of empanadas in Section 324, Row G.
And then you pivot and talk about Survivor on CBS?
And then I pivoted to say, and now, 12s. Please welcome the best dance team in the NFL, your Seahawks dancers.
Who rates them?
We do. We say it. Every team says it.
But there isn't like...
Every team says it.
Because I feel like
every team says the best dance team.
Let me continue my sentence,
there's no rating.
Carla Marie.
Okay.
Because I feel like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are known as like the cheerleaders of the NFL.
But there's no competition.
Why isn't there though?
There should be.
If the teams compete, I would love to see. They should start a reality show. That pits.
There was but it was just about the Cowboys.
No. I want a reality show that does some sort of dance competition and actually ranks the best cheerleading squad. It would be great for a post.
The problem is
what?
Every team, they don't do the same thing. So we have the Seahawks dancers. Some teams are just cheerleading squads where all they do is just wave their pom-poms. They don't actually dance.
And that's fine.
So they're just going to go out on the mat and do this.
Here's the thing. As someone who was a avid fan of America's Best Dance Crew on MTV,
Oh my God,
there were a lot of dance troupes that did different things, right? The Jabberwockies versus Break Skate. The two best groups in that whole thing.
Jabberwockies were good.
Why can't we put different dance teams that are all connected because they're NFL dance teams? Like the Giants automatically out because they don't have a dance team.
Lose.
Right?
Jets have
one. I'm 99%
which makes
sure.
No sense.
Why can't we create a post-NFL show and maybe it's bracket style? So every week you have 4 teams. Maybe they represent their division. And then you have a champion move on. So you'd have like the AFC West, all of their teams are in episode 1. We crown their champion. Then we move to the AFC North. You crown that champion.
And then Super Bowl week, we find out.
No, this would be after the season's done.
Oh, I thought it would be like after each game.
Or that. I don't know when they would film it.
Oh, Jets don't have cheerleaders.
Jets don't have them. Okay.
Anymore.
I think that would be a great show.
It would be. Pitting women against each other.
No, it's
just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It was a joke. I agree. It's just like a cheerleading competition.
Yeah, that's it. And you figure out different.
But some squads just do this.
Then they are not going to make it very far. And that's it. And they should do a little better. Do all the teams have men on them as well? Because I know the Seahawks brought in men kind of recently.
Ever.
Really?
We were still in the air when we talked about it.
They're the first team ever?
Yeah.
Not even one male cheerleader?
Well, because it went from Seagals to the Seahawks dancers.
Yes.
Which I like way better.
I want to see, like, once my Achilles is better, I want to see if I can audition to be a Seagal or whatever. Seahawks
I think some
dancer.
of those guys flip, though.
They don't do a lot, honestly. And I'm not trying to say what they do is easy. I'm just saying I feel like I can do the...
But you can't remember.
No, but I if I needed to...
And they do a lot of, like...
Yeah, I can do all of that.
Fast. You have rhythm.
But I can. I just got to train.
Right? Oh, sorry. Well, Rams make NFL history with male cheerleaders at the Super Bowl. So they were the first at the Super Bowl. Let's see what year. this? 2019.
But so Angela in Spokane said you can be a base
But
and
no,
lift, but they don't do that, right? They're not.
We're not cheerleaders. We
Exactly.
have dancers.
So I think I don't think I could do any of the male cheerleader stuff. Like I can't hold a woman up.
I know
on the palm of my hand.
I have been asking you since the day I met you to let me do that with you. We would be so good at partner stunting.
And it won't happen because you would die. I would drop you on your head. Not on purpose.
1, 2, 3.
I just don't trust myself holding another human being up on the palm of my hand.
But I could teach you.
It's going to be a painful lesson for you.
1, 2. Like, I know all of it.
Anyway.
I did partner stunting.
Anyway, I think I'm going to try to audition next year. Maybe that'll be like my new goal. My New Year's resolution.
I think you'd have to shave your beard.
That's fine. I'm probably going to shave it by Christmas anyway.
And then you'd have to spend every weeknight from 6 to whenever practice is over. There's no end time.
That's fine.
And if you're late more than twice, you're kicked off the team.
That's fine.
Okay.
I have a feeling I can do it.
And you're going to wear sequins.
Whatever. They also don't wear sequins. They wear jumpsuits. I've literally seen them.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe they're sequins jumpsuits, but it's not like I'm wearing a leotard.
The men wear pretty tight pants.
Pants? What do they wear?
I always say pants like that.
All right, next on the list.
First NFL pants I wrote.
Last thing on the list for the day, and then we're going to get out of here. Wow, it's already 9:09. A compliment can save someone's day. So this is just a friendly reminder. If you see someone doing something cool, doing something that you admire, doing something unique, hard, whatever, just a good job in general, tell them. Even if it's super stupid, just tell them. And I'm going to give you the example. Yesterday, I went to the gym later in the day than I wanted to. I was not having a great day in the gym to begin with. I think the travel over the last week, the crappy diet, and then anytime you take a 6-hour flight, your body's just really cramped up. So all of it together, just wasn't having a good day in the gym. And I wasn't sad about it. I just knew that I was struggling that day, right? And I got to the station where you do like the lat pull downs, and there was a guy in the station next to me who I've known for a while at the gym. And he just looked over and he said, "Hey man, I just want you to know it's impressive that with your injury," because he saw me from the first day I got injured, it's impressive that you've been able to bounce back this well. He goes, "You've made more improvements going through your injury than I've seen regular healthy people do in the gym." And it was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. Was having a bad day in the gym going to ruin my week? No. Maybe. But it was just a really nice thing. He didn't have to say it, and it changed that was halfway through my workout, changed the trajectory of the rest of my workout. I felt so much better that because he reminded me, what it was he reminded me that I have had this somewhat difficult journey the past 3 months.
It has been difficult.
And it is okay to say, you know what? I'm doing okay with everything going on.
And it's not just like strangers also. It's people that work for you, work above you, below you, same team as you. We're so quick to critique and tell people when they're doing something wrong because the thing that's wrong needs to be fixed. But if you don't tell people when they're doing something right, how do they know they're doing it right?
Yeah.
And I started doing that with companies. Anytime I get great customer service, I called CVS customer service one time to let them know that someone at the pharmacy was so freaking, and they didn't know what to do. And like yes, it's a step out of your way, but it's so easy to be like, tweet, "Oh, this happened or this happened." Have the same energy for positive things.
Yeah. We are very quick to tell people, especially publicly on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever. We are very quick to completely destroy or attempt to destroy the reputation of a restaurant if one thing is bad, or if one waiter maybe had a bad day and you didn't like the way they treated you. We are much slower when the opposite happens. Yep. It is a much rarer sight.
Kind of bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, negativity is disgusting. Unfortunately,
gross.
It's more of a connection point for humans than positivity is. We are more likely to pay attention to something we hate. We are more likely to give time to something we hate than things that we like and things that make us happy. It's a weird thing. I'm sure there's some survival reason
Like
where we've
instead of
evolved, and if there's back in nature when we would
Yeah.
have to forage for food, if there was something that killed one of our tribal members or made us sick, we had to remember that
Right.
more than anything else. So I'm sure there's some sort of like evolutionary reason that
Definitely
happens.
is. I think I lost. Oh, there it is. So just a quick note. The Colts were the first ever team. Take that back. The Baltimore Ravens were in 1998 had the first male cheerleaders as stuntmen.
Oh, wow.
So
In 98?
I'm sure that went over well.
Huh.
People are yelling about Taylor Swift. Could you imagine a male cheerleader invading my NFL space?
I'll tell you what.
I gotta see a guy on the field that's not a football player.
Guys who don't appreciate male cheerleaders are dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. First off, cheerleading in general seems pretty difficult.
It is.
Like if you're doing real, now I'm not talking about like middle school cheerleaders, which I'm sure has its difficulties, but I'm talking about high level cheerleading with back handsprings and holding people up and spinning in the air. And what's it called when you throw someone and they flip?
Well, you do a basket toss, and then there's all different kinds of flips.
Whatever. All of that stuff.
Okay. Which is actually illegal.
That is wildly dangerous, very difficult. But then I think there's this weird thing that guys do when they talk about male cheerleaders that somehow they're like gay and whatever,
And
like
so what if they are?
feminine,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what we try. And when I say gay, I don't mean like actually homosexual. I mean, they try to use the term gay to make it less feminine
Correct.
or whatever, or more feminine, I mean. But in reality, male cheerleaders are some of the strongest humans you will ever find.
And
It's
coordinated,
crazy. Yeah.
too. Like, I'd love to watch your ass get off that freaking bench
Yeah.
sitting in the stands, and you're making fun of them to do literally anything that they're doing.
And it goes, I mean, you could put the same thing, gymnastics and cheerleading, you put them in the same category. I guarantee you, if there is a guy who's a gymnast in middle school and high school, he is getting made fun of all the time.
But he's
Whether
so,
it's to his face or behind his back,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But that guy is going to be so freaking strong and do things that no other like macho bro will ever be able to do. There's a guy that goes to LA Fitness here, and he brings 2 wooden handles. Like is it a pommel horse? That's
I don't know. I've seen him.
But
He's a maniac.
the piece of gymnastics equipment is a pommel horse, right?
I don't know. Just the things, the
Either way.
sticks that he holds on to.
And he practices routines that you would do on either the parallel bars or I believe it's the pommel horse.
But he's like running around. He's doing like pull-ups, doing this, then flipping.
And yeah, part of his workout is just doing 10 backflips in a row.
It's insane.
And landing in the same spot.
I watch him, and I'm like, bro,
It
this is so chaotic.
Without a doubt, out of all the people I've seen and their incredible feats of strength and all the gyms that I've gone to, that is without a doubt the most impressive thing I've seen in any gym in America. It is crazy to see in person. It's crazy to see in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But it is
But
even
when you're
crazier.
right next to him, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is a pommel horse. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that. And then if you ever see male gymnasts in the Olympics specifically, and they are on the pommel horse, those arms, they are
It's nuts.
insane. Or the,
And they
the
have to
other
be
one,
so
the rings.
fit. So fit. And their diets, because they have to be as light as possible while having the most muscles.
Yep.
Because you have to hold yourself up.
You know, there's an interesting study, and basically the conclusion of the study was one of the best ways to judge your overall fitness is by doing pull-ups.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Because a pull-up is a great combination of not only your strength to get yourself up there, but you also have to manage your body weight because you have to be able to pull yourself in a controlled manner to get yourself up and down. And it is a great way to gauge overall
It's true.
strength and conditioning, basically.
Yeah, I'm my goal. Well, remember I originally was like, I want to do as many as you need to get into the Marines, and I started realizing that was insane.
How many is it?
It's like 17.
I bet you could train to do it.
Well, not this year. So, our friend Alex, who works for Sean T, she had back surgery, so she's been getting back into it. And her goal is 3 unassisted. So I was like, all right, we'll do this together. So I'm at 2 unassisted right now.
Let's see. Marines, are you Marine material? Request information? No. I'm not trying to join. I don't think you would take me. Okay. Marine physical requirements.
Are we too old, I think?
I believe so. Although if we were in a wartime situation, they would expand it and we can go in. or they would accept us or force
Probably
us.
just you.
What are the physical requirements? All right, initial strength test. To even be recruit training.
Oh,
To begin, sorry.
3 pull-ups or 34 push-ups in 2 minutes. I'd rather do the 3 pull-ups.
Yeah.
Oh, so either or.
In 2 minutes? That's crazy.
But can you, I don't
did
think you
realize,
can get them off the bar. You have to hang, I don't think.
Even then. Okay, this is insane. We need to up these standards a little bit.
I've read it before, and I'm like, I could be in the Marines.
For all applicants, I'll put this on the screen. I think this will work. Let's see if that pops up. Nope, wrong one. What?
I had tea today.
Yeah, so you're going to go pee?
Without food. Okay. I have a little snack here. I'm trying not to vomit.
Okay. Let's see, as Carla Marie does that. I just left the screen. Idiot. There we go.
How is Bobo Snacks not done the deal with Jake Bobo?
Pull-ups and push-ups. For men, 3 pull-ups or 34 push-ups in a 2-minute time limit. For females, 1 pull-up or 15 push-ups in a 2-minute time limit.
I can do both of those, so I'm in.
Can you do 15 push-ups right now? Do it. Let's see.
Hold on. I'm trying not to vomit.
Whatever.
Give me a second.
All right. For men, you have to run a 1.5 mile run, 1.5 miles in 13 and a half minutes. That's not that bad.
My mile time is 8:30.
Yeah. So you should be able to do it. But for women, that same distance in 15 minutes. And a 40-second plank, which really with a month of training, anyone should be able to do a 40-second plank.
I don't understand. 40-second plank, 103 minimum?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't understand that either.
All right, what's this?
The physical fitness test. Okay, so you just do that. And then the combat fitness test. What do we got here? Okay, Marines must lift a 30-pound ammunition can over their head until elbows lock out. You just have to do it once?
That's it? But I just have to prove that I can do it?
The goal is to lift the can as many times as possible in a set amount of time. The maneuver under fire, which is another thing here, the last one.
But then do you get placed a certain spot by how you can do it?
The maneuver under fire is a 300-yard course that combines a variety of battle-related challenges, including crawls, ammunition resupply, grenade throwing, agility running, and the dragging and carrying of another Marine.
All right, you know what? What do you got to do to be a Navy SEAL?
I don't know if because I think you have to enter. Wait, no, because let's see. Navy.
What's the hardest? Coast Guard? How long you got to hold your breath underwater?
The Green Berets, that is like the top tier of Navy SEALs.
Those are the guys that killed Bin Laden?
It was a Navy SEAL team that did that. Navy SEAL.
Oh, I got to wear all my gear. I can hold 30 pounds over my head. I used to hold cheerleaders above my head.
All right, the Navy SEALs fitness test requires you to run 15 miles in...
I'm out.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. 15 miles in 10 and a half minutes? That's physically impossible. To run 15 miles in 10 and a half minutes, that's got to be wrong. I bet you that's supposed to be 1.5 miles, and it's a typo. Because literally the best runners in the world couldn't run 15 miles in 10 minutes. It's insane. Swim 500 yards in 12 and a half minutes. That makes more sense. Complete 50 push-ups in 2 minutes. Okay. 50 curl-ups, pull-ups in 2 minutes, and 10 pull-ups. So a curl-up would be this way. Just so you're understanding, a pull-up would be out like that.
1.5 mile run.
Okay. That makes way more sense. The more you exceed the minimum, the better shot you have. So those are the minimums, but it doesn't guarantee that you get in, I guess. Huh.
Okay, one of the best workouts to assist increasing your scores for the Navy SEALs is do 100 pull-ups in as few sets as possible. Run a quarter mile in 90 seconds between your sets of pull-ups.
Oh, wow. Okay.
200 push-ups in as few sets of pull-ups. Okay, 300 and go up. All right, I might do that.
This is also, it's definitely harder than the Marines.
I might try this next sunny day. Do 100 pull-ups and then run a quarter mile in 90.
You just said you were struggling with 2 pull-ups.
No, it's in as few sets as possible.
So you're going to do 100 sets?
But then run a quarter mile in 90 seconds. So every time I do 3, I got to go run a quarter mile? Who do they think I am?
But that's to train for this.
All right, I'm going to go back to cheerleading.
But again, I don't think it's that difficult. And I know that recently they've lowered a lot of the standards.
Yeah, it's what everyone's saying.
They've changed a lot of the requirements because people aren't signing up as often and people are getting rejected more often.
Rejected?
Yeah. Or they're failing the tests and not getting in.
So they just lowered it.
So they lowered it. Yeah, they lowered a lot of the standards. We talked about it in the morning show podcast. They didn't lower the math standard. They're going to add the ability to use a calculator.
Which is fine. But if you're out in the field and you're getting shot at, you're going to whip out your a pocket cal?
What I would ask is, what calculations are you doing that, and people are going to say, oh, well, there are calculations you have to make if you're a sniper, for example.
I assume it's like distance and height and stuff.
But I bet you, you train to not need to do the calculation.
Is it Marines or Army?
Bullet Drop says,
because I'll ask our friend Mitchell.
Either one. I think the military, the math test to enter the military is standardized. So I think every branch.
Should we take that?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, we're also completely opposite, but a test. We need to do our love language. We're going to not do it on the air. We're going to do it separately, and then we're going to report our findings on the podcast. What is this? The show.
Oh, here we go. Jess from Minnesota. My husband was a recruiter for the Army. The stories I've heard were insane. I'm sure.
Oh, the ASVAB is what it's called. ASVAB. I've definitely heard of ASVAB.
I did talk about that.
Arithmetic.
Are you trying to take the test?
Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery.
Yeah. So that is the test that they are going to allow people to use the calculator on.
Okay, so there's general science on this test, arithmetic reasoning. If there are 3 quarts of gas in a gallon container, how full is the container?
If there are 3 quarts of gas in a gallon container.
And the options are percentage, 50, 60, 75, or 80. I'm lost.
How many quarts are
I got to ask Google every time I'm cooking.
It's 4 quarts in a gallon.
Oh, you're right. So then it would be 75.
Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Word knowledge. Observe.
Wait, where is this test? I should put it on the screen for everybody.
Oh, todaysmilitary.com.
Okay, let's go. Hold on.
It's ASVAB sample questions.
Todaysmilitary.com.
Also, while you're doing this, should we do a Google Meet test to see how that's going to work tomorrow, or you do not have that ready to roll? Like,
Google Meet? We can try it. Okay, what am I looking for?
No. ASVAB sample. No, ASVAB.
Oh, VAB.
Oh, you're fired. Not even. Sample questions. Second one.
Okay, let's put this on the screen. All right. General science. I got a different question here.
No, that's what I didn't read you general science.
Oh, you didn't?
Skipped it because
word knowledge.
No, go to general science.
Oh, you said you skipped it. I thought there
because
was a
I
reason.
didn't know the answer.
General science test the ability to, okay. NaCl is more commonly known as salt. Yeah. Sodium chloride is salt.
Yes.
And that's what Na is sodium, Cl is chloride. Arithmetic reasoning. There are 3 quarts. We did that. Is where we were right? 75? Okay. Word knowledge. Observe most nearly means to watch. Okay. Paragraph comprehension.
Oh, we're not doing this. I hate this.
Hold on, no.
We're not going to read the whole paragraph.
I am. Nations are political and military units, but they are not necessarily the most important units in economic life, nor are they very much alike in any economic sense. All that nations really have in common is the political aspect of their sovereignty. Indeed, the failure of national governments to control economic forces suggests that nations are irrelevant to promoting economic success. According to the paragraph, the economic power of a nation is relatively unimportant. D.
Correct.
Okay. Mathematics knowledge. If x plus y equals 2 and x minus y equals 1, then... Okay. X plus...
It's got to be 1. Because what could equal 2?
No, I think it's got to be... C.
No, wait, yeah, because that wouldn't make sense.
It would have to be C because if you take 3...
Oh, I didn't even get that far down. I just stopped at the top one.
It has to be C, right? Am I stupid? I might be. Okay, C. Electronics information. The rotor of a generator moves inside a circle of magnets.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
The rotor of a generator. It is? Okay. Geez, auto and shop information. The coolant in a car flows through the...
engine block?
I would say...
And I'm saying D, final answer.
I'm going to go with D as well. I know Jack S about cars. Woo, all right. Oh, mechanical comprehension.
Is that a wine opener?
What simple machine magnifies effort when the handle of this cork... Oh, lever.
Yeah.
Right?
Lever.
Okay. Assembling objects. MEPS. Test takers only. What's the MEPS?
MEPS test. That's a different test. Which figure best shows how the objects in the left box will appear if they are put together?
Okay. I would go...
D.
Yeah. D is the only one that has that big weird piece.
So we're in.
Damn, look at that.
Well, I didn't know salt.
Look at that. Sign me up.
Go ahead.
I've always wanted to do like basic training. I don't know how long basic training is, but I've wanted to do that.
I think every American should have to do basic training.
Yeah. I agree.
You know how many people would die?
I think every American should have to go through basic training. And if you drop out or don't make it, we're not trying to kill you.
Disability and issues aside. You turn 18, you can't vote until you complete basic training.
I don't know about that.
I do. Don't get your license.
No. I think basic training and how to handle a gun and just gun safety in general, I think those are things that everyone should know. Now, keep in mind, I've done neither of those.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't really have legs to stand on.
But think about how much more you'd be focused on health as a teenager.
Yeah.
If you knew you had to do this.
Wasn't that the idea for like the presidential fitness test?
I don't know what that is.
You guys definitely had the presidential fitness test. Every year, your whole school would have to do like a certain, like there was a sit and reach, there was a pull-up test and a mile run.
Oh, yeah.
That was the presidential fitness test.
That's literally, can you move?
Yeah.
I don't know that it was called that.
Does anyone else, I can't be, I know I'm right here. Presidential.
Okay, but did you know that I won the push-up contest that the Army did at North Arlington High School my senior year?
I feel like you may have said that, yes.
And I won an XXL t-shirt.
Presidential fitness test. What does it consist of? The test evolved through the decades, but recent versions typically consisted of at least 5 of the following exercises. Sit-ups, timed for 1 minute. We did that. Push-ups, I believe we did that as well. As many as you can do without resting. Pull-ups, as many as possible. Or flexed arm hangs, as long as possible. And then there was like a mile run I feel like you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and you would run the mile in your jeans. I remember in middle school being like, oh my God, a mile. And now I'm like.
Oh, the sit and reach. That was the other thing for flexibility.
Should we do this?
That was
you can't.
The thing I struggled with the most was the sit and reach.
That's funny.
Not a flexible
Could
person.
you do that now with your Achilles? I don't think so. It would stretch that too much.
That's fine.
But you can't do the mile run.
Currently, no, I cannot do the
mile
run.
So I win.
No. If it was a point-based system, there's a very good chance I would beat you in. I would do
but you're gonna DQ out of the mile run. That's
fine. I get a 0, and you get whatever that point is, right? But I think I would do so much better than you in the pull-ups that it would negate me being disqualified from the mile run.
How many pull-ups can you do
in a row? I don't know, probably 20.
What?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to LA Fitness in Ballard today.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna get the whole gym rallying around us.
And how many are you gonna do?
2.
Okay. Sure. I could also walk the run, so I wouldn't get 0 points if I walked the mile.
You cannot do 20 pull-ups.
You've seen me do 20 pull-ups. When we went to Seafair, when we were still working in radio, there was an Army booth. And it was English 7 and 9. We both did pull-ups.
Alabama had a stroke the next day. Did she do them?
She wasn't with us.
Okay. She was. Oh, she met us later.
Yeah, she met us later. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I could definitely get 10. That's easy. I would start struggling probably around 15.
This way.
Yeah. This way, if I was doing chin-ups, 100% I could do 20.
Yeah, that's easier.
Yeah.
Martha said I call BS.
No, I'm not saying it would be a cakewalk.
We're going to get, because I have the one installed at home.
Yeah.
We're going to put one
I don't know if I trust that one.
No, you can't do it there. Because I shakes when I do it.
Yeah. I'm significantly heavier than you, too.
Can we get the Google Meet thing just to test it out for tomorrow?
What do you mean? Like we just
you make a Google Meet and you put it in the chat. People click in, but we have to set it like we let people in because we've never tested that.
Okay.
Setting.
New meeting. Create an instant meeting. Is that what you want?
And then what did I? Okay, hold on. Go to how did I figure that out? Settings. The three dots.
I gotta do this first. I have to start a virtual cam. Then go.
Did you ever see the Power Climber? We had it in middle school. Why does that sound familiar?
Okay.
That's reversed.
Yeah, no.
Reverse. Oh, I have a story to tell while you do this. So yesterday at the Seahawks game,
it's gonna have to just stay reversed.
It was the 10th anniversary celebration of Super Bowl 48. And they had as many players from that team come there.
Okay.
But in the little tunnel area I have to wait in, we were getting ready to do one of the games out on the field. And the game was the free throw shoot-off, which is something Coach Pete has players do before team meetings. So we now do that at the field, and a contestant, a fan, goes against a Seahawk player in a previously recorded video. Okay. So I'm standing there at the basketball net, and the entire team, Super Bowl 48 team, comes walking down the ramp because they're going to be announced after it. And they're all just hanging out with their wives, kids. It's chaos. They're having the best day ever. They get to be at the stadium and not play for the first time in how long. It had to be so cool. But Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin, who are the biggest jokers, they're part of Seahawks Legends, they put together Champions of Change.
They're like the Bert and Ernie of sports. And I say that with the utmost respect. They're legendary, and they just love making fun of each other.
Yes. They each captained a Champions of Change team.
Yeah, I was on Cliff's team.
That's Anthony, the whole Achilles thing you were supposed to play, that thing.
Yeah, so really it's Cliff Averill's fault.
So they start playing with the basketball net, and Cliff's just, putting some shots in. I was like, hey, Cliff, when you guys did this at team meetings during that Super Bowl 48 year, who won the most free throws? I was just, curious. And he's like, that's a great question. Hey, Doug. And he asked Doug, and Doug goes, me. Definitely me. And Cliff's like, no. And I go, Doug, didn't your Champions of Change team lose? And he's like, what? And Cliff is like, oh, that's right. He's 0-2. And Doug is going, the disrespect. And I was like, my boyfriend was on Cliff's team. And Cliff's like, oh, yeah, that's right. And he high-fives me. And I'm like, yeah, just me hanging with the pros. I love it.
Well, there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast. You can listen to that wherever you get your shows. Until tomorrow, thank you for hanging out with us. We've been on for almost 2 hours, which is kind of crazy. We're going to take a little break, get everything set for tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Peace out, Cub Scouts. You look great.